Good evening, everyone, and welcome to GrayManPrepping. It's time for Tactical Tuesday, where tonight we're talking tactics, gear, and more, because tonight's topic is dun, 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 take stock in your stock. And welcome, everybody. And I got Tammy here. Boom, there we go.
Hello.
And this is something that I found needs to be brought up at least once a year, although I only bring it up every couple of years. Tell people, get out and look at what you got. Now, and some of the feedback I get is, oh man, it's so hard to do it. And I've created Excel spreadsheets. Hey, here, just fill it in yourself. Oh, it's so hard to do that. Well, all right, we're going to jump in the Wayback Machine to the number one, your prep for today. Brain Aid.
Yep.
It's a notebook. And actually, we got a big old bundle of them, that they have at that Walmart and stuff. And my wife gets them every couple of years because all the grandkids, what they do is they flip it open and they grab a pencil and they start just drawing and they draw and they draw. Oh, next page. Yeah, but still teach them to use notebooks.
They used to be 10 cents a piece. Now they're 33 cents a piece. And I think this year they were more like 50 cents a piece. So,
yeah,
it's still not a bad investment.
We got about 20 of these up in the closet. But I'm just looking to see if it doesn't have price on it because it fluctuates when it's on super sale. And that's when she gets it, when it's on ridiculously cheap. And she goes, oh, okay, I'll grab a bunch.
I always get a handful when it's the back to school sale, and I just throw them in my cupboard. I have a little linen closet, but there's no linens in it. Hey, Louis. Mm-hmm. And in that closet, I keep spare light bulbs. I keep all of the office supplies, crafting supplies, stuff like that, so that I always have it.
Now, one of the things, I'm going to pick on my thumbnail here that I picked out because I noticed it after I picked it out, and I figured I'm going to pick on this too because this is a problem people have. So let me bring it back up here. Now you look on the bottom here under they got the stovetop stuffing. They got the boxes all laid out nice and neat. On this one over here, they got on the behind stock, they got all the canned tuna, the canned chicken stuff. But you look above take, and they started to put some boxes and then start cramming crap up there and cram it up on top. Of course, they're not going to know what the heck they have.
No,
they just start piling up there. And what's interesting is you can't see it, but if it had gone up higher, you would have seen the top shelves are totally empty.
Yeah. And you can move those shelves down. You can add more shelves. You don't have to,
But those are the ones that are 5 foot tall. And oh, wait a minute. Hey, I can put the big, huge Costco, Sam's Club bundles of paper towels, toilet paper up on those. Not a problem. But what gets me is like I'm looking at this. Some of the stuff's nice and neat, and I look at that shelf like, oh crap. In the back, the cans are stacked up pretty much in canned corn, green beans, whatever. But they start piling little boxes of stuff that you're just like, no.
You mentioned the tuna, and I noticed something recently on the tuna that I've been given some jars of tuna. The school sends home these weekend packs for all the kids. So anybody that's on free or reduced lunch gets them. Well, now the whole school has free lunch, so they're sending them home with like anybody and everybody, whoever. If your kid will grab one as they walk out the door, you get one. And the tuna in those things, this free tuna, if you read the ingredients, it's tuna and soy. Like soy needs to be in my tuna. I'm like, don't get those things. Stop picking that stuff up. I don't even want it in my house. So you really got to watch what you're getting.
And that's one of the things I want to mention tonight is that when I get into the this spreadsheet I got to share here is,
Mm.
In the last 5 years, I've learned a lot more about the poison we've been being fed
Mm-hmm.
by Big Farm, who also happens to own a lot of stock in the big food companies.
Yep.
And so, it's like, yeah, I can stockpile all this stuff. But you start looking at it. Oh, wow. It's got, what the heck are these chemicals in here? I can't even read the name of these chemicals. And then, of course, the one thing is the meme that's been popping up and flying around here in the last 6 months is 90% of food in grocery stores didn't exist 90 years ago. Coincidentally, 90% of diseases didn't exist 90 years ago.
And 90% of the grocery stores didn't exist then either.
Yeah.
Grocery stores are a 1900s invention. They were not. There were very few stores in the 18. There's a resupply store, but not like we have stores now. The things in them were not like we have now.
I mean, it wasn't until like the late 20s that grocery stores began to look like they did now, because the cities got so big. It wasn't the old-fashioned mercantile you used to go to, where you get,
if you go to Williamsburg, Virginia was a very large town in colonial times. Yet everybody there had their own garden behind their house. Everybody there had a pasture outside of town that they pastured their animals at. And they had a cow, they had pigs. They had those things still, even though they were living in what was a metropolis in the 1776 era. It was a huge city, but they all had a large garden behind their house. Even though the front of the house looked very much like a town, the back of their house was a garden. Like, we could do that now.
Yeah. It's when the town of Fredonia was laid out, it was laid out as 10 acres per block.
Mm-hmm.
I bought the last 5-acre block in town. Everything else is smaller, either 1 acres or 2 acres. And so I got the last one, and everybody just absolutely freaked out, thinking that I was going to be subdividing. It's like, no, if I could have gotten a full 10 acres, I would have gotten a full 10 acres.
Yeah.
And if I could afford to buy 2 blocks, I would have bought 2 blocks worth. But yeah. And my throat's been acting up more this today. That's going to come up on yours earlier.
And I apologize to everybody who may have been in my live. My son called. It booted me when I get a phone call during the live. Even if I don't answer it, it cuts out my my phone. I don't have no volume. That's why I've had to go out and come back in on lives like this one.
Yeah.
I have no volume, and when I came back, everybody was gone. I'm like, okay, bye. Sorry. Guess y'all figured out I have to go.
Don't forget, we're not talking just about food either.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's drop down here. Let me get rid of that there. But yeah, it's one of the things that remove that, put that down, get the other one up here for it. One of the things, taking stock inventory, even if you're so lucky, and I wish I was lucky enough to have this.
I have one jar organizer I bought for $12. A 14-year-old boy was making them in woodworking class, and you put the jars in the top, and they fall to the bottom. The cans, I should say, to the top, and they fall to the bottom. That keeps them somewhat, organized. And I love it. I wish I had more of them. And it only takes up the size of a 2x4. But if I could have, if I had enough number 10 cans to fit that shelf, I'd be able to afford that shelf.
Yeah. One of the things that, back in the day before computers, it was notebooks. And if someone had a rack set like this, they would have a notebook hanging on every single rack.
Yeah.
And that way they go through it, and they would, open it up, and then they go and say, all right, we have have everything listed in there, and you take something out, -1. You add another one to it, +1. Here comes Mark.
Hey, Mark.
And you just keep adding and subtracting as you go along. Mm-hmm. And everyone goes, oh, that's a lot of work. Well, not really if you do it right. And you can just go on and you just have columns, whatever, you mark in, out, whatever. And you track pretty much everything you're using so long as you keep up on it. Problem being is you get family events going on and someone runs over and just grabs the thumb and doesn't write it down. And so then you got to realize probably, once a month or every, quarter, you got to go out and audit everything. That's where it takes a long time. When you got to audit it.
Do that with my freeze dry stuff. I have a master list, and then each tub has its own list of those items in it. And then I'll pull one out and I'll renumber it or cross it off or whatever. But then I went out to the cabin a while back and I'm like, oh, I need a whole bunch of stuff. So I just went rooting through stuff, never wrote anything down. So yeah, I got a whole lot of tubs I got to go back through because now it's like, do I have any brownie bites left? I think I ate them all. And then I just made a whole bunch of them. They're in the freeze dryer now. And then I'll open another tub, be like, oh, I never even logged them in. Okay. I probably have like 8 tubs with nothing logged in.
Yeah. And so what's neat in the new modern age, especially if you have a tablet that will work, Excel, you don't have to carry a big laptop, you just carry a tablet, you just go along and do the stuff. And what I really like about Excel is you can keep adding tabs across the bottom for different things. Not different items, but like example here, we're going to throw this up here, hang on. So across the bottom, I got my introduction sheet. Talks about immediate uses now to 30 days storage, short-term storage is 30 to 2 years, long-term more than 2 years. And then down the bottom, I got meals. First I can plan for meals. I got canned items. I got short-term dry. I got long-term dry. I got freezers, second freezer, upright freezer, which I haven't put anything in because my daughter went and took it, so it's now hers. 9 cubic foot freezer, which I'm just, I've got to reorganize. And I can look through, you can just keep adding all the things you want across the bottom. And Excel has formulas, which are really great. Let me get back over here. So on this one here, this automatically adds the numbers in this area right here. So if I add like baked beans, I had different thing of baked beans. I had 4 cans of whatever type baked beans. Watch the number change. There, it changed. That's simple. You don't have to do the math. It does it for you. And so, yeah, you can do a lot of different things here and just keep adding to it and do different things. So these are just like canned things, all right? And then I got my I was just starting now, and I just kind of threw this together to show people how it works. And you can just keep adding things through it, and then you can do. I could put in one over here that would be for show me how many. I could do the total. There's a formula where I could take it where it'll add the total poundage times this, and then give me a column over here of how many pounds of rice I have. There's formulas for you can make multiple things and add them together. Yeah.
So I have a variation of that. I use my spreadsheet. I started it from the LDS food calculator. Mm-hmm. So they have it doesn't matter, you don't have to be LDS to use this. You just have to want to know how much you want to store of any item for 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, whatever. You can put any dates, any size family, and it also figures it by ages. So, before my son was older, or if I'm having a grandchild live with me, I can add a small child into this and figure it out how much I need for a year. My goal is to have a year's worth of food put away. And so I took that spreadsheet that they give you with the amounts once you put in the calculator, and I transferred that to Excel sheet like you have, and then I have a column of what I should have, and then my next column is what I actually have that I can, so I can update it or up and down as I go. And that's my long-term pantry, and then I have one for my short-term working pantry.
Yeah, the one thing I've used that before, getting people started. But one of the things I've noticed on it is it doesn't alter. It still tells you should have certain things, but as far as dietary, if you change,
oh, you froze.
If you're going to a more of a keto diet and you're eliminating certain carb things, it still says, "Oh, you're supposed to have so many carbs." It's like, and so you got to figure that out yourself.
And like, we don't eat legumes, but we do eat a lot of white beans. So I took out the legumes or some of the legumes and substituted white beans, or, so you can play with it. It's just a great jumping off point.
Yeah.
To get started.
It's a starting point. Yeah.
And then in my Facebook group, one of my part-time admin helpers, I think she's not an admin, but a moderator, she wrote a little book on the same thing. It's just for canning, and it said, and then you can put what you canned, how many jars you can, then you cross them off when you take them out of your pantry, and then you can fill in more. They have more as you go. And so that's really nice too, to have one of those, kind of like a guide, because I always kind of forget what I have in there if I don't keep a record of it.
And one of the things, like with the Excel spreadsheet, like I got one tab that's wants versus needs, and so I got needs: canning jars, wide mouth quarts, canning jars, regular mouth, pints, wide, regular, half pints, half gallons, and I got stuff on there like dehydrators, chest freezers, all sorts of stuff we need for long-term survival, even though we can't use it all right now. Mm-hmm. We got the stuff listed there. Now under my wants, I got like a CCTV system, different types of hunting rifles, bows, and stuff like that. Stuff I don't need, but in the future I may want.
Right.
And so basically on this too, you can sort these items. Let me bring this up. So you can take this and you can assign item number, and then you can assign a priority number of what you think this is going to be. That's 1, 2's for that, 4 for that. Not number of them, but we're on it. I want to move this, and move this up to 3, and really, and then you can go along and you can sort the entire thing by the priority you have on different things here.
You better move that tractor to number 1, buddy. Just saying.
Not that doesn't move up until the staff sergeant's here. Till then, she'd move it over here to the. She'd move it over. Oh, that's a want, not a need, and she'd move it over there until she's out there the first time in the snow trying to plow snow. Then all of a sudden, wait a minute, I need to move this back over here. And that's the thing. Sometimes things will change from one column to number as you realize, oh man, I didn't realize how important that is. But yeah, I mean, it's like, so if I wanted to sort some stuff here, I could take it here. I could take this, go to data, go to sort. And so I'm going to go sort by column B and just sort by that. And it just changed around at the bottom, moved half gallons down below the dehydrator. That's all it did. And if I had I got so many these, this is now 5 because I got 500 wide mouth and I got 600 regular mouth. And so if I resort that, now moves those down lower on the priority list. And that's one of the things really neat. You can figure out what you need and adjust it. And as you get more of your supplies in, you may decide, okay, I finally caught up on this. This is no longer a heavy priority thing, and you can reprioritize things and work on your other supplies that you want to get.
Yeah,
I just did that. Some of you know I've been buying cast iron all summer long, and so my pantry's died down quite a bit. So I've just been buying minimal stuff for my food pantry, just stuff I need from month to month, as I bought cast iron. So now I got to build up my food pantry now.
Yeah. But that's a great way to do it, though, is to use your pantry to so you can free up your money to buy things that you need and then build it back up again.
Yeah, especially if you build it up on sale. When stuff's on sale, then you build it up.
Well, I was talking about that today. I got a brisket for $3.39 a pound. I can't buy hamburger for $3.39 a pound. So
yeah, but you can grind it and make hamburger, really good hamburger.
That's what I was thinking, but then I'm thinking I might just cut it into steaks or into roasts. Yeah. It's really just me. Sawyer doesn't eat a lot of meat, so But yeah, I could make some mighty fine hamburger with it, but
Yeah, last night as you guys were talking about stuff, I mentioned I was going to get a brisket and smoke it, and then I'm going to for Christmas, and then I'm going to can it into, like, when I'm done, right? I'm going to can it into brisket soup.
Ooh, nice.
Good.
Yeah. I forgot to say hi to everybody. Hi, everybody. I'm not going to go back through and go through everything.
Puppy.
Wayne is here, Becoming Dangerous. Just a couple of them here that are. Suzanne Galay's in on your side there, Tammy. Utah Mike's joined us. Of course, at the beginning, everybody was talking and stuff. So I really missed out. Forgot to do it. There, I'm back up here. So, yeah, Holly Ivins is in here. Dave Knight's in here. Mother Garden Club. Oh, everybody's in here. So welcome. And if I forget somebody, Space Case tonight, forgot to welcome everybody.
We're going to blame it on the Dayquil because you didn't take the NyQuil tonight.
Yeah, there you go. Now he's all wired out. My ADHD doesn't allow me to get on a computer and spend that much time trying to sort stuff. I'm lucky enough to put it on a notebook and throw a piece of paper in each tub.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that I've done, and I try to get people to do this too when they're taking stock of their stock, is do a meal plan. And I can just tell right now, I can just feel the cringing coming through the internet. Oh, meal plans. Oh, no.
See, we eat different in the summer than we do in the winter.
Yeah.
And so my meal plan is I have 4 3-month meal plans where we have a rotation that we eat those 3 months, and then we might not eat it again until that season again. Like I eat a lot of soup here in the fall and winter, but I don't eat soup in the summer. So, my meal plan,
Well, one thing that happened, that's one thing where the spreadsheet comes in. Let me flip over to that again. So I got meals, and you can set up, this isn't a meal plan. This is just what do you need for certain meals? And so beef stew, beef cuts, and I just started filling it out just as an example. I didn't put everything in it. So you have beef cuts, you would have your celery, your onions, your carrots, whatever you're going to put in beef stew. And you have that going across there. Chicken fried steak, beef steak, mashed potatoes, gravy, corn, like that. And you can just go across and you start adding stuff in here. Southwest survival mix. I've done videos on making it. Ground beef, rice, diced tomatoes, black beans, white beans, taco seasoning, grated cheese. Did I go any farther? No.
Sour cream.
And then you add on to that your spices which go in it. It says taco seasoning, yes, but we add more stuff in just taco seasoning to it. We had extra garlic, we had extra cumin, and so you just work out. This is sort of like a electronic version of a recipe, but set up so you can actually sort through and see how many different recipes you're cooking use diced tomatoes. With the wife, a lot uses diced tomatoes. She uses diced tomatoes in a lot of stuff. And so, I don't have I got taco soup down here. I don't have the recipe for taco soup. She's got it because I've learned I do not make taco soup. I let her do it because that's her recipe. And I'm not going to violate her recipe and spend the next 3 days in the doghouse.
I'm starting to freeze dry staple ingredients now, like, onions, peppers, carrots, but everything is blanched because it freeze dries better when it's blanched. And so, like, I just saw a advertisement. I cringed, and I was like, really? A freeze dried company is now doing a sous vide, not eye round, ribeye. I'm like, well, crap, I just bought a bunch of ribeyes and sliced them up into steak. So they sous vide them and then they freeze dry them. And yeah, when you like I did that steak the one night on that one feed, and you do sous vide in a, I had 3/4 inch thick, ribeye that's already sous vide and technically cooked. Yeah, I just have to add, 130 degree or 140 degree water to it to rehydrate it. And I got steak, just slice it and eat it. And then I can do like, onions, freeze-dried onions. I just add some water to it, throw it in a pan with a little butter or something and brown them up. So I'm starting to do less meals ready to eat, which I have a lot of those, and now just more of the ingredients to make stuff. So I'll probably do diced beef, sous vide diced beef, and freeze-dry that. That way it's not, when you can the beef, it's cooked. And I've made stew out of just canned diced chunked beef, but you have to add it last because it'll really fall apart quick if you're using canned, which, don't get me wrong, still love my canned stuff. But freeze-dried, yeah, you can just dump that in there, dump your onions in, brown those, dump in your beef cubes, and dump in whatever you want, and then you got beef stew ready to go.
Yeah. And my wife knows that once she's up here, we will get a freeze dryer. But until she's up here and we're concentrating on everything up here, it's on the want, not the need. And so, but I mean, it's like some of the stuff, if you're tight on space and you like pasta, probably the best pasta to get for the space it takes up is spaghetti or
linguine,
angel hair, linguine, all the flat, straight,
all the straight flats. Yep.
Yeah. And there is a big difference between angel hair pasta and spaghetti. And you put it, for some reason, it tastes different to your mind.
More flavor sticks to the surface area, so you got more stuff.
I did learn the hard way, though. You really need to rotate that. Pasta is not something that's going to stay. Spaghetti is best, but pasta is not something that's going to stay good in your pantry. Even if you keep all the bugs out, even if you seal it airtight, even if you seal it, vacuum pack it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pause and take the dog out. He's having a cow over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, pasta is not something I want to store more than 5 years. More than 5 years, it starts to disintegrate.
Right.
Yeah, I've got pasta that I've taken out. Yeah, I've got pasta like you buy in the bags at the grocery mall, and I put them in the 1.9 liter, I guess the half-gallon mason jars, and vacuum sealed them. And they're like a couple of the one what I got left now is like a couple of years old, and it's still good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on how it's stored and, your seal meal, and if it got air in there and a little moisture, humidity gets in there, it'll start to pull in flavors from outside. And I got my pasta as it starts to get on, I cook it. And then there's a procedure to it. I'm not going to get into it unless we do another freeze dry video, but I cook it and freeze dry it. And now I have cooked pasta. So all I have to do is add, just dump it in a pot of water. It'll absorb what it needs, strain it back out. It's done.
Yeah.
And, some turkey and freeze dried celery bits and freeze dried onions. And I can make turkey salad, chicken salad, whatever I want, pasta salad.
Yeah. I'm trying. It's hard to keep up on the side chat here. They're just having fun putting information down in there. And thanks, guys. I know you can read and listen at the same time, but I'm trying to talk and read at the same time. Don't work all the time. But one of the things that when you're freeze drying things that I've learned from scouts is there are certain meals that are more popular than others. Chili mac for boys seems to be a very popular freeze-dried meal.
Oh, yeah, it's beef and noodles. It tastes like chili with onions. Yeah, it's great.
And you put cheese on it.
Yeah. Freeze-dried cheese, shredded cheese. Yeah, that works too.
Yeah. And
you froze, and now you're coughing on a froze. Wow, that's a big freeze. That's a freeze-dried freeze. And you're back. And you're muted. You're muted. Muted.
There we go.
There you are.
Yeah, that was a hard one. Earlier the computer was acting up before the thing started, so I kept losing contact with the chat. Hasn't done that since I've gone live, but everything's acting up right now with the proton storm and stuff going on, coming in from the last
solar flare. Yeah.
Yeah. But my grandsons just, they like my boys, their favorite stuff was cheesy enchilada, chili mac, and chili beef taco, hamburger helpers. I mean, each one's a little bit different. It's like bam, bam, bam. There you go. They can eat those all day long. 3 meals a day, 8 days a week.
Yeah, I freeze dried hamburger helper. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love homemade hamburger helper.
I know that's one of the things that my wife will do when she's up here and we got the freeze dryer is we will make,
meals.
Big batches of chili mac and and the cheesy enchilada, which has rice in it instead of pasta.
Yep.
And yeah, we'll make that. And then if kids want something for dinner, okay, we got the hot kettle of water. Turn it on. Measure out the water. Get it going. There you go. There's your lunch, boys.
Yeah, I freeze dried like Szechuan chicken and vegetables. And I freeze dried rice, and they're in a pack together, and I just know how much water to add to it, and I know how to walk the food, and there's a way to do it. I should do a video on that one. So everything's nice and crispy and fresh, and it's cooked, but it's like you went to a Chinese takeout, and everything's nice and fresh instead of just throwing it all in a pot and letting it boil for 20 minutes. Then it's just everything turns to mush. Yeah, that's the home stir fry and the old Norelco electric wok in red that Mom always had. And we're having stir fry tonight. And everything just gets thrown in there and it just boils for an hour. Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's not stir fry, but I'll eat it, Mom.
Yeah. And so that's where that meals list comes up. You figure out what all you need for what it is. and you just make sure you got it in storage. One of the things that we've noticed, and because my wife's been buying the big containers of the tomes and the other spices and stuff. The one we have the biggest problem with is the onion powder, and because it's like, you know, you open it up to scoop some out, and it just goes moisture.
Yep.
And next time you open it, it's like get an ice pick to try to break it up.
Yeah. Well, if you sprinkle it on your food over the stove while it's boiling, that's a problem.
Yeah.
I just dehydrate onions, and then I stick them in a I slice them up, and then dehydrate them, and then I put them in a the coffee grinders.
Yeah.
And I put it in there and just grind it up until it's a powder. And I leave the onions.
That'll probably be what we're going to wind up doing is getting one of those nice little small coffee grinders. Because I had one for feeding my koi. But that would would work on a lot of it.
I do that with
the dog ran you wild, huh?
Well, the neighbor was out here, so then he ran off to her and jumped on her, and I'm like, no. But she knew him, so that was good. I didn't know she knew him because I haven't met Kevin's neighbors. And then as soon as I picked up the first go around, he ran over to the dumpster. So I'm chasing him to the dumpster, but we got to go there anyway. So I dumped the bag in the dumpster, and then he's like, ha ha, goes again. And I'm like, lucky for me, I had a second bag.
Yeah.
And then he ran back to the camp or to the front door.
Yeah. Yeah. In my stuff for storage or not, the fact that this house has 4 bedrooms, and if my boys come up here with my wife, it still leaves me with an office here, but it's got a big formal dining room, a living room, and a family room. We don't need all that. And so we've talked several times about turning the dining room into a pantry, because it's has a door off the kitchen to the dining room, and then the family room is off the other side of the kitchen, and just turn that into a family dining room. You know.
Yeah.
But
to have areas to store
stuff. Yeah, to have areas to store stuff is important. Go ahead, Louis.
Yeah, I've done that. I live in a 1,500 square foot house with 2 bedrooms, and the second bedroom is my pantry room. I built shelves right up to the ceiling, and I got 2 chest freezers in there, and I put my dog food in there. I put my chicken feed in there. Those stuff I don't use, and because I'll buy like 6 bags of chicken feed and 6 bags of dog food, right? Put it in the closet, stacked up, and I got to use a little ladder to get to the top shelves by the ceiling. But you know what? I was surprised. I had that room pretty full, and I'm surprised. Like, I don't need food just right yet, but I'm gonna have to start building up everything back up again because I got a lot of empty mason jars. But I'm surprised on how long it took me. I thought I had like 3 or 4 months worth of stuff, right? But it turned out to be 7 or 8 months. So I was quite surprised.
Yeah.
And that's just with buying some odds and ends, like sometimes milk, or if I needed lemons or whatever the case might have been.
Yeah. Well, we have one of these we picked up from Shelf Reliance. That was a damaged display one, and I couldn't find what was damaged on it when we got it. It was like we got it for like 70% off. It was, so we got one, and it doesn't help. It holds a couple number 10s on the bottom, but most of the rest of them take regular size soup cans and stuff like that. But after we got that, we realized We're not going to get any more of those because even though it's nice and it feeds through and everything else, you can't move that shelf around easy. And so what we do, and I've had videos doing stuff for my indoor garden stuff using these. This is the one from Sam's Club. It's got plastic liners on top of the shelves, and it's got wheels, locking wheels. So yeah, we can just roll it around, and it's great, you know. So you know, I don't know. I think we probably have about 20 of those now between both houses. And once the shop is totally done, we'll have those out there. And we'll just, you know, slide it in and pull it, you know, roll it out, pull what we want off it, slide it back in, and like the trying to think what library that was. Also they had it in Captain Marvel too, where they had all the little shelves that you just go in, you pull out whatever you want, and slide stuff back in, everything like that. But yeah, those are
You're going to need to put something on the back and sides because when you move it, they're going to tip.
Doesn't fall off, yeah.
So
right. What's great is 1/4 inch plywood, the cheap thin 1/4 inch plywood, and you just cut it to fit it and just, you know, zip tie it to the back. Works great.
Yes. And then on the front, you can take what are those things? They have the S hooks and
bungee cords.
Bungee cords. Thank you. You can put a bungee cord across to help earthquake proof it. What were you going to say, Lewis? I'm sorry.
I'd probably, if those are like metal bars on the bottom on the shelves, like on a barbecue, I'd probably put some 1/4 inch plywood on the bottom, like underneath where you're going to put the mason jars.
Well, that's what these come up with here. So it's got a, let me see if I can put a bigger, see, it's got a liner. Yeah. It comes with a liner on it for 6 liners for the 6 shelves. And yeah, that helps immensely with jars and stuff. Keep them from tipping.
Yeah, if something leaks too, it doesn't drip on the ones below it.
Yeah. And you can also get the dividers to go in there. And so on the one that I have like my cardboard boxes of spaghetti, I put the liner in so the spaghetti doesn't fall off.
Yeah.
But into my jars and knock my jars over.
Things I do on these for these shopping at Sam's Club and Costco, they got the big pile of boxes out there. And I got I moved most of them out of here, but I'll get the flats they ship the strawberries in. Or the blueberries. They're about that tall on the side. They're the right depth of those. And so I'll just stick a couple of those in there, and I can put my mason jars in there. I can divide it up, and they got some narrower ones too that are about the same height, and I'll break it up by what it is I want to have on those shelves. So if I have like salt and stuff, I'll have salt, all my things of salt in the one section, and I'll have my boxes of rice-a-roni. And so I just stack those up, and the boxes of the different flavored pasta mixes and stuff set up. And with those sides on it and stuff, it works great for keeping everything in control on the shelves as well.
You ever make your own homemade rice-a-roni? It's really easy.
Oh yeah, my wife's made a whole bunch of stuff. She stopped buying the cheesy enchilada because she was buying so much of it, and once she figured out to make a knockoff generic variant that the boys liked, then she stopped buying it, and she made several big jars of the seasoning for it. 2.5 tablespoons of the seasoning, add it to it, 3 cups of rice, and the whole 9 yards. So it's all,
Oh yeah, I used to love making homemade rice-a-roni and just grab a box of vermicelli and just break it up in little tiny pieces and throw your long grain white rice in there, brown it in butter, and then throw in chicken broth and then your ground up parsley and a couple other spices and stuff in there, and you got the best homemade rice-a-roni. Can't call it rice-a-roni though. Learned that the hard way when I was working in a kitchen. I called it rice-a-roni. They're like, "Did you buy rice-a-roni?" It's like, "No, I made it." You can't call it that. I said, okay, I called it vermicelli rice. And everybody knew what it was anyway because it tasted better than rice-a-roni.
Yeah. Now, talking about the liners on the shelves, why? Because we had bought some of these at Costco, not realizing that the Costco ones didn't have the liners on them. And they were like $5 cheaper. We bought some there. It's like, crap. No wonder. All right, $5 more. We're going to buy this. Well, my wife found a roll of 16-inch wide material. She bought a big roll of it. She said, you roll it out, measure it, cut it, and she put liners on those ones we had from Costco. So
Nice.
yeah, and so yeah, you can buy those that roll, that liner material, in different widths. You can get 14-inch wide, 12-inch wide, and it comes in a roll of however many yards long. And it even works great just on regular wooden shelves too, so you don't have the rough wood and on there and stuff. So just if
It keeps them clean too.
Keeps them clean. And if a jar or can does start to leak, it gives you a chance to catch it before it stains the wood.
Yep.
So, but yeah, there are and it was also on those shelves we found the can Solidator is a brand that you can expand and stuff, and we have a couple of those on the shelves of a couple of these that just sit in there. The only thing we did on the one is we put a piece of 3/4 inch by 1 inch, 1 by 2 or whatever across, so it's actually 3/4 inches by 1.5 inches across the back to tilt it just a little bit. It had plenty of slope going from the front to back, but from the back to the bottom shelf, it didn't want to move so good. So we tilted it a little bit, and it just works perfect.
Nice.
So you got to think outside the box when you're doing these things. Sumi's here.
And if you want to hang stuff from those shelves, buy extra S hooks, and then you can hang them from those shelves. So if you need a can opener for that kind of thing, you can use the S hook and hang your can opener right there. If you are storing, spoons and things, I have one in my kitchen. I put the S hooks on it, and then I hang my spoons. I can hang some of my cast iron there, Lewis, from it with S hooks. And so the S hooks, it's like you can get S hooks really cheap.
Yeah. And okay, so Sam's Club doesn't carry it. You carry something else here, if it's going to show the picture of it. They also have it with you buy it. It comes with these bends on it. But my brother years ago, my older brother, was getting these wire racks when they were painted black, and they actually came with baskets that went on the ends. And I got a bunch of his baskets that he had, and then they also had things that click on it that had like a pull-out drawer.
Yes.
So you had that down lower for tossing the can openers and stuff in like that, and drawers and stuff like that. But yeah, the baskets on the end are amazing. And the thing is, you can find them that are made of the same heavy gauge material as the shelves are, so much the better, because you can really put a lot of weight on those as well.
Yeah, and if you want to just grab a couple of those plastic bins, I know that Harbor Freight carries those plastic bins rather cheap.
Yeah.
If you can get your hands on a medical supply catalog, you can get that shelf liner.
Unisource.
There you go. Yep.
You care. Oh yeah, but
I've seen them in there.
It's not going to be cheap, but also it's 99% American made too.
Yeah.
And so you're going to spend a little bit more for it, but they have a lot of stuff. Unisource, and then I forget the other one. I get those catalogs too. I still get the catalogs. I don't say stop the catalogs because I like getting catalogs to look. Okay, nothing new. I'll just put this on the shelf, throw the old one away.
Yep.
But yeah, there are a bunch of different attachments for these. Now, the other thing too on these shelves, you can get off of Amazon freezer baskets,
Yes.
and you just slide them on the shelves.
My daughter laughed at me today. We drove by a dishwasher that was out at the road, and I'm like, wait, stop. I need the basket out of that. Because it had a really nice stainless steel basket. And she's like, Mom, I have all the kids in the car. I am not stopping. I'm like, okay. And it was stainless steel. But those dishwasher baskets are perfect, because then you can turn your jars down in them, and then carry your empties, and then carry them right back upstairs. So, something like that would be great too. Just put under there, and you don't have to pay for stuff like that. You can find that alongside the road. My favorite price, free.
Yeah. I was just reading what Tuka V said. Yeah, there's another brand name. I'm having a brain fart on the brand name on it, that stuff. And of course, if you have Granger, you can order a lot of the stuff through Granger as well. But if you're how do I put it? Not mechanically inclined, tool inclined for woodworking, you can build your own shelves. Do all sorts of neat things with them.
If you do build your own shelves and you're putting heavy things like canning jars on them, reinforce the centers. So many people buy like the cheap plastic shelves, or they buy or make their own wooden shelves, or try to use a bookcase, and those once they start to sag in the middle, they're going to tip over, they're gone. You're going to lose your jars, you're going to lose your food in the jars, because it's going to be a pile of broken glass. Always reinforce those down the middle.
What I did for the first experimental one I did 30 years ago, I went and got the white melanin coated particle board from Home Depot, 8-foot length, set my shelves up, put a string line and set it so that it had a slope to it from one side down to the other. And the shelf was wide enough for more than wide enough for 2 cans. And basically what I did is I just got some 1x material, square, and I put it on the top, and I spaced it for outside edges and one in the middle, and drilled, screwed, glued, attached it to it. So now it's 1.5 inches thick going up and down there, and the can sat in between it. And we just feed it from the one side, and it roll gently down to the other side. Always roll it slow at first until you get enough on there, because otherwise it's going to go kink right off the block on the end.
Yeah.
But one of the things is when I did the shelving unit, so I had every 2 feet, I had the heavy duty arm brackets supporting it. Mm-hmm. So there was no way, even if I hadn't put anything dividers on it, it wasn't going to sag. People would think, oh, I'm going to get an 8-foot sheet of particle board, put it up here, put one in the middle and one on each end, and it starts sagging in between.
Yeah. I've seen so many pictures of people's shelves or bookcases or things where they've just, because they didn't reinforce them.
Something just reminded me. Let me look something up here real quick. Just on that, plastic shelves. It brings it. Okay, yes. Boom. So there's this one here. I was looking for the other ones that are just short and square, and it's not showing them. But a lot of them, Walmart, Samsung, Costco, have the ones like this that are instead of being 48 inches, they're basically square, or they're 30 or 24 inch. The problem with these things here, let's see if it shows the. That's not going to show what that's about the closest of it.
They sag in the middle. They all sag in the middle.
It'll sag in the middle.
Yep.
What I found works great on it, I get some of the
piece of plywood.
The damaged 3/4 inch plywood from Home Depot when they got some damaged stuff. So I'll get a sheet that's, like, 50% off, and then I'll cut it myself to fit on those shelves. And so, so basically I just notch it out in the corner there around the legs, and it works pretty good. It's still, over time, if you put a lot of weight on it, it's still going to sag. But if you're putting lighter weight food stores on there, boxes of cereal and stuff like that, it'll be fine.
Yeah, unless you anchor that thing to the wall, those plastic shelf units are very wobbly. When you get weight on them, they'll fall over. They'll do some weird things. You really need to get it between other shelves and anchor it to the wall. Other than that, go for the steel shelving. You're better off.
Yeah. But something like these.
For that last picture you showed there, Gil.
Huh? What was that, Lewis?
For that last picture you showed, you can put up 2x2s in the middle, like cut down 2x2s for the middle of those shelves, so that to reinforce it.
Yeah. One of the things I do on those, I've gotten some of those because they were dirt cheap at the time, and others people gave them to us. If it's heavy stuff, it goes on the very bottom, and you work as you higher you get, the lighter stuff you put on it. Like the top 2 shelves, paper towels, napkins, Kleenex. And the lightweight stuff like that. Yeah. All righty. We're hitting the top of the hour here. I know Cold War Preppers going live here in a couple minutes here with problem people in an SHTF world. Wait, we don't have problem people in a normal world?
Yeah, we can avoid them.
Yeah. All right. So coming up here for real quick here, what's coming up here? Thursday is Thanksgiving. I am going to be going live this evening for that evening for the midnight ride. It may be short. Everybody may be done pigging out and enjoying the bounties of their labors, and if you want to sit around and chat, we'll see what happens. Friday is on Camp Patton Family Compound is garden items to salvage first in a Milwaukee situation. Saturday here on GrayManPrepping is urban water scrounging. Next Monday is canning wild things on Camp Patton Family Compound. Next Tuesday here, we're going to be doing Faraday cages. So we're going to talk about good, bad, and the ugly, and the shocking reality of Faraday cages.
Cool.
So, all right, everyone. Thanks for coming by, and thanks for contributing on the side there. And I think I'm trying to see who's echoing. No, I think it's Lewis. It's Lewis. So that's what's so just a reminder, keep adding to your preps: water, food, medicine, clothing. Oh, we forgot to talk about medicine stock. Gonna take stock of your medicine too, folks.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Take care.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.